Hi class, today I'm recording this week's video clip right here from Hudson Valley in my classroom. If you'll notice behind me, you're going to see a couple of characters from the story I'm going to read today. There's a wild thing and his buddy Max hanging from a tree up there. This is one example of a prop that you can use when you tell a story. In this case, it's an overhead projection that the teacher can put behind them. Other props you can use with stories include things such as puppets, like this very hungry caterpillar, and later on he turns into a butterfly. I'll be using this in another story. And also there's a lot of commercial props out there available, in case you recognize this character as Miss Madeline. So if I were going to be reading any of the Madeline stories, I might have Madeline come along and sit with the children. Kind of adds an air to the story, makes it more fun. So for your story sharing jamboree, you're going to need some sort of a prop to go along with your story to motivate the children, get them interested. So think about what you could do. Today's prop for my story is the backdrop. So I'm going to be reading to you Where the Wild Things Are by Maurice Sendak. And in this story, make sure you pay attention to the rolling vowels, freight words again, especially the first time I use the character's name, and also the power of the pause as usual. Where the Wild Things Are, story and pictures by Maurice Sendak. This is a Caldecott Medal winner. Where the wild things are. The night Max wore his wolf suit and made mischief of one kind and another. His mother called him Wild Thing, and Max said, "I'll eat you up." And so he was sent to bed without eating anything. That very night in Max's room, a forest grew. And it grew, and it grew until his ceiling hung with vines, and the walls became the world all around. And an ocean tumbled by with a private boat for Max, and he sailed off through the night and day. And in and out of the weeks, and almost over a year, where the wild things are. And when he came to the place where the wild things are, they roared their terrible roars and gnashed their terrible teeth. And they rolled their terrible eyes and showed their terrible claws. Till Max said, "Be still!" And he tamed them with a magic trick of staring into all their yellow eyes without blinking once. And they were frightened and called him the most wild thing of all and made him king of all the wild things. "And now," cried Max, "let the wild rumpus begin!" "Now stop," Max said, and he sent the wild things off to bed without their supper. And Max, the king of all the wild things, was lonely, and he wanted to be where someone loved him the most. And then all around from far away across the world, he smelled good things to eat. So he gave up being the king of where the wild things are. But the wild things cried, "Oh, please, don't go. We'll eat you up, we love you so." And Max said no. The wild things roared their terrible roars, and they gnashed their terrible teeth, and they rolled their terrible eyes, and showed their terrible claws. But Max stepped into his private boat and waved goodbye, and sailed back over a year, and in and out of the weeks, and through a day, and into the night of his very own room, where he found his supper waiting for him. And it was still hot. The end.